Welcome back. Here is Chapter 7, Page 1 of Escapees of Wonderland. So then, let me see. So the kids were in class. So the kids were in class, and it was just your average school. And then the bell rings after a while, which meant it was time for recess. And during recess, Alice walks up to Anne and Ashley and shows them a picture she drew of how she imagined Wonderland to be. Because, as you know, the two girls had told her they were from Wonderland. And they told her that her picture was crazy cool. And then Alice smiles and skips off. And then Anne and Ashley take out a picture from their pockets. They tell Anne and Ashley tell the girl that it was crazy cool because the picture that Alice drew was very, very accurate to Wonderland. So it's crazy cool because it's crazy accurate. Alice must have a good imagination because she made a picture of Wonderland on how she thought it would be, and how she thought it would be is how it is. So anyhow, so then Alice smiles and skips off. And then Anne and Ashley take out a picture that their adopted parents had given them when they told them that they were adopted. And it's a picture of their parents. And on the back side of the picture was a note saying, "Whoever finds our baby, care for them and love them." And then Wendy walks up to the two girls and asks them if they want to play a game. And then Wendy asks them, "What are you guys looking at?" And they tell her, "It's a picture of our parents." And then they tell Wendy that they want to find their parents. And then Wendy asks, "Wouldn't they be in Wonderland?" And the two girls start to laugh. And then they tell Wendy they aren't originally from Wonderland. And then Wendy starts to tell them where they can find their parents. And then the bell rings, which means it's time to go back to class. So she's about to tell them something, but the bell rings, and she can't. So, after school, when school is over, after school, Mrs. Darling comes to pick up the kids. And Anne and Ashley show Mrs. Darling their parents' pictures. And Mrs. Darling says that she knows Anne and Ashley's parents. And she knows where they work. And off the Darling family and Anne and Ashley go to find Anne and Ashley's parents. And the first stop they took was at the psychiatrist. And Mrs. Darling told Ashley that her mother worked at the psychiatrist's office. And so Mrs. Darling told her to go up to the front desk, where there was a lady who had black hair and brown eyes and lovely, lovely dark skin. And Ashley asked the lady if she's ever seen the people in the picture before. And the lady takes the picture and she looks at it. And then she asks, "Where did you find it? Where did you find this picture?" And Ashley tells the lady that it's a picture of her parents. And then Ashley tells the lady that she reminds her of the lady in the picture. And she asks the lady if she is the lady in the picture. "Are you the lady in the picture?" And at first, the lady denies that she's the lady in the picture. And then Ashley starts on her way out of the office with Mrs. Darling and the Darling children and Anne. And Ashley tells Mrs. Darling, "That lady said that she wasn't my mother." So the lady denied that she was Ashley's mother. And Ashley sadly walks off. So then Mrs. Darling tells Ashley that she was sorry and that she thought she was for sure her mother. "I'm sorry, dear. I thought that that lady was your mother," Mrs. Darling said. And then they started on their way to find Anne's mother, which Mrs. Darling thought worked at the library. And so they enter the library, and Mrs. Darling sees a lady who she thinks might be Anne's mother. And the lady was over in the library, over at some shelves, shelving books. And so Mrs. Darling tells Anne to go over and talk to the lady. And so Anne goes up to the lady and shows the lady the picture of her parents and tells Anne that she hasn't seen, asks the lady if, shows the lady the picture of her parents and asks the lady if she's ever, if she knows these people. And the lady tells her that she hasn't seen them before, but she'll keep an eye out for them if they happen to drop by the library. And so Anne sadly approaches Mrs. Darling and tells her, "The lady with the dark brown hair and the lovely light skin was not my mother." So the Darlings and the two girls leave the library, and once again Mrs. Darling apologizes. And so then the two girls tell the Darlings that they feel as if they should go see their psychiatrist. And so they do just that. And they tell the Darlings that they'll meet up with them sometime later on. And so they do just that. And so back at their psychiatrist, they are telling their psychiatrist, Anne and Ashley's psychiatrist, whose names were Tyler and Jackson. And Anne and Ashley told their psychiatrist that they were feeling sad. And their doctors, Tyler and Mr. Jackson, asked the two girls, "Why are you feeling sad?" And the two girls told them because we had come to this place to try and find our parents, but we haven't had any luck. And then their doctors told them that just because you haven't found them yet doesn't mean you never will. And then Dr. Tyler and Dr. Jackson asked the two girls if they'd like to go explore London with them. And the two girls told them they hadn't seen all of London yet and that they'd be glad to. So the two girls went with their doctors, Tyler and Jackson, to explore London. And meanwhile, the lady that works at the psychiatrist and the other lady that worked at the library, they met up after work. They were friends with each other, and they met up after work. And they start walking and talking together about that they had two girls approach them that sort of looked like their daughters, but all grown up. And now, back to Anne and Ashley. So Anne and Ashley are double dating at a very nice restaurant after a little while of exploring London. And they are with, of course, Dr. Tyler and Dr. Jackson. And they have a waiter come up to their table and ask them what they wanted to eat for dinner. And Anne has a strange feeling that she's seen the waiter before. And she tells Dr. Jackson. And Dr. Jackson says, well, maybe you've been to this restaurant before. And then Anne shows him her parents' picture. And Dr. Jackson says, there is a strange resemblance. And then, when the waiter is standing at a nearby table, Anne brings the picture and walks up to the man and asks him if he knows the man in the picture. Do you know this man? And the man claims, he takes a look at the picture, and he claims that he's never seen the man in the restaurant. He's never seen the man in the restaurant before. And then the man gets back to his business. And Anne walks back to the table sadly. And she tells her friends that he wasn't who she thought he was. So, then they get their food. And then after they get their food, and after they eat their dinner, they leave the restaurant together. And they start, and then Anne and Ashley's doctors start to talk to them and tell them how at first they thought they were crazy. But then they got to realize that it's okay to be at least a little crazy. At least sometimes. And that's what makes them, Anne and Ashley, different from other girls. And then their doctors take their hands and they go exploring London some more together. And one of the places they saw was a big building where Mr. Darling worked at. And now, Chapter 7. Oh, I was on Chapter 7, but this is Chapter 7, page 6. So stay tuned for more, and I will be back.